I don't understand, really. I saw him doing it in Spain, I saw him coaching in Marseille, and I see him now every time, after a year and a half belonging to a team, coaching a team, nightmares come up. And today's, and the day before, I think it was against Manchester City, it showed, even with players who are not all the time playing, it shows that the weaknesses of his tactic. The individual marking is not anymore possible in our modern football, because you open spaces like you never seen in the football world. Really, today that was just obvious. I played against Leeds. I played against Woodgate and Radebe. They were fantastic centre backs. I think it would have gotten crazy to play in that tactic. It's impossible because you see players being right back, finishing left wing, and it's a big disorder, and nobody understands what they have to do. And they're tired of running like crazy, following a player from his first 16 yards to his last 100 yards after. So it's a nightmare for these defenders, for the midfield players, and they have to stop that, because they're going nowhere near it. They have no tactic whatsoever. They open spaces like crazy, and the only guilty for that is the coach. So you can find excuses for the players, but for the coach, he has to change something.
He was the darling of the Premier League last year, Jules. Now, how much trouble is he in?
I don't think he's under too much pressure unless he lives by himself, and he's just conceded 11 goals in 2 games, 7 against City, 4 today against Arsenal. I don't think that Victor Orta, who is the sporting director and the owner at Leeds, would get rid of him, Angus Skinner, who is the CEO at the club, either. I think they still believe in it. I understand what Frank said, but on the other hand, they played exactly that well last season with man marking everywhere, a lot of running, and they finished 10th in the Premier League, and we were all praising him. The fact is that today he had a 15-year-old on the bench. 15-year-old sitting on the bench who is never going to play, but just to make the numbers because of all the players they've got out. The average age of their bench was 19. What do you want him to do? Okay, of course you can change the tactic and the system, but when you've been using that system and making those players play for 4 years now, 4 years is a long time, always the same way. It's hard to say to them, oh, listen, let's play 5-4-1 and let's just all go behind the ball and defend. They would not know how to do that either. So I think he's keeping the same way, and it's not working. I know, I see what you mean, but I think it's hard. Both ways are hard.
Jules, I hear you, and I can understand. What is sad for me is to hear that one of the best, considered as one of the best coaches in the world, has one tactic, one way of playing. You are telling me that for 4 years, he didn't try another system. He didn't try, in case something happened, that you have to defend more in zone, for example, at 5 at the back, and try just to get the draw instead of being smashed and scoring 11 goals in 2 games. That's what I don't understand. Yes, of course, you have players injured, and it's not the only team like that, but you have to have a backup. He hasn't got a backup. He never had a backup. It was the same story with Marseille, where after a year and a half, it became a nightmare for the team and the players to cope with the situation.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.